1969, BridgeMont was chartered as a small resident camp for kids, primarily coming from northern United States and Florida. In 1978 is when I became involved with BridgeMont as its director. So it's been about 30 years now. From its very beginning, BridgeMont was geared towards small groups. We can hold about 60 to 70 campers, and in that allows us to really come alongside and get to know kids on a very personal level. Throughout the week, by the end of the week, they'll know the name of the cook, they'll know my name, I'll know their names, and so we're able to develop a relationship that we're able to build on for the course of the week, and also for the future. We've had kids return. We've had kids come back and say, hey, do you have another story you're going to tell us this week? It's just something that touches their heart to be able to relate that closely with the staff and those that are in some sort of leadership position. Now, as BridgeMont has evolved and grown, we've seen the opportunity really to come alongside different ministries and partner with them. But getting back to the small group relationship, we think we're modeling, and we're confident we're modeling what Christ did. When he grew up with his dad, Joseph, you can picture him working with his dad in the workshop. I see that often. I can just see him planing something, putting a chair together, going into the neighborhood, helping repair something, just all types of things with his dad. And what a vivid image of that relationship that he and Joseph had. Well, Jesus, when he grows and becomes a man at the age 30 and enters that ministry, he selects 12 men that he's going to invest his life in. He spoke to thousands, but he invested his time and his life into 12 men, poured it into them, so that those 12 then would go and multiply and share and spread that gospel throughout the world. I think he's modeled for us a great picture of what the church is, but also what ministry focus can be. I know in my relationships with the few that I'm close around, it's a deep, rich relationship, and it grows each year. So BridgeMont is taking that small group and taking it and developing it. And our passion for the future is, let's begin something new. Now, these schools are not new, but for BridgeMont it would be. It'd be a school of the arts and crafts, where father and a son, a mother and a daughter, a small leadership team, a family, maybe an aunt and an uncle and a couple nieces and nephews could come for a weekend or for a week and begin to just step into the Appalachian culture and the arts and crafts and what they live by. The imagination is a marvelous thing. Today we're entertained more than we learn to use our imagination and to have fun. Through the School of the Arts and Crafts, you use your imagination. You're building something. Just see a piece of pottery be fashioned off the wheel and it slowly rises and takes shape. And just do that with the encouragement of your instructor or your mom and your dad or an aunt or uncle or a peer at work, just doing that together, or a leadership team. Just visualize that encouragement and that, struggling, and it falls back down and you have to work it back up again. Or maybe taking a project like a coffee table or an end table. Here it is. This is our goal for the week or the weekend. And those men gather or ladies gather around the work table and we all see it. And then we go to the pile of bare wood and say, this is what it's going to come from. And it's going to take attention to detail. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience. It's going to take being accurate and skill. And so we work through the week fashioning that till at the end of the week we step back, probably in disbelief. And there it is, something we put together with our own hands. I began woodworking in a small, damp basement of a guy in Atlanta. His name was Tony Mazzanti. Tony Mazzanti built Shirley Temple's house. And he was a craftsman. He was unique, he had great gifts, and he was deaf. And I walked into that workshop and saw him working, and he invited me over. And for a month between college breaks, I spent with him in his workshop working. It was a unique experience, and I was a little bit timid to do it. I was afraid. He said, go over there and take the belt sander and sand on that hutch. Well, I went over there and took this big belt sander. I'd never used it before, set it on top of that hutch, and before I knew it, I had a nice groove in the top of it where it shouldn't be. Well, Tony comes over and looks at it and goes, And then he stops, and we look at it, and he shows me how to correct it. Well, you know what we had to do? We had to start over. We had to get a new top. But he didn't come over and say, "Oh, look at what you've done." Instead, he can come over and says, "Well, this is why that happened. And let me show you a little better way to do it." So I spent a month with him and learned a great deal about how to put things together, the skill, but also the atmosphere, an encouraging, calm atmosphere that encouraged me to go ahead and take a next step, to try something a little bit harder, to do it again, not to give up and walk away. So BridgeMont School of the Arts and Crafts is open to everybody to come. It doesn't matter what the level of skill. If you have a heart and just want to say, step out there and try it, come on and try it, because I think it'll be a great experience for you, family, son, whoever. The opportunity to come along and develop that relationship, I've seen it many times. Many times young men have come to me just to work, just to learn, to apprentice for a little while. Other times families would come and say, is there anything that you could just show me? I had a little project at home. Can you show me what to do? I'm kind of stumped right here. But just being able to come in the beauty of the Smoky Mountains, surrounded by all that's here in God's creation, and step out of the workshop and just breathe in that air after working for 3 or 4 hours, and then step back into it again with encouragement and fashion something which is maybe something special I'm going to give to someone. But it's really not the gift or the project, but it boils down, it's to the relationship, the conversation, the encouragement, if you will, expressions of love to one another through the course of the week as we grow together and learn together. So BridgeMont wants to be kind of a community of workshops and arts and crafts where artists can come in, where people locally can come, those that are on their vacation can come, summer campers can participate in projects, churches can do even small retreats, and part of that retreat may be involved in the workshop itself, doing pottery, painting, photography, woodworking. One of our goals in this pursuing BridgeMont School of the Arts and Crafts is to build a school, but also build certain facilities that will go alongside of that. Let me kind of give you a picture of that. Located next to the Boundary Park, the National Park, and the Foothills Parkway, we have the opportunity to walk into over 500,000 acres of the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, visited by over 11 million people each year. Now, who would BridgeMont draw upon to come? It would draw upon its local church. It would draw upon churches probably and groups, Christian groups and ministries, homeschoolers within 200-mile radius. But just think of the influx of the number of people that just visit. BridgeMont would be a community of Christian artists, but it would be open to whoever may want to come and take a class. And with that number of people coming, we believe there's a great opportunity to fill those schools in those weeks. Now, as located next to the National Park, the facilities would consist of this: a large workshop that would contain woodworking and pottery, and probably be somewhere around 3,000 square feet. Located adjacent to the workshop would be a small cabin, probably about 2,500 square feet. A bunkhouse style with a gathering room, small kitchen, and also probably private rooms upstairs to meet the needs of couples and families. That would provide a facility somewhat separate from the regular camp program to concentrate and provide accommodations for those involved in the School of Arts and Crafts. At the same time, the camp affords a large dining hall and other cabins for families to stay in also while they're with us. We invite you to help us make this happen. We invite you to come and walk in the workshop and see that window, see that light coming through that window as it just shines across the work tables in the workshop, and just visualize that father and son, that mother and daughter, working together, huddled together, creating that project together. Can you see it? Jesus and his father, Joseph, in their workshop with that small little window and that glimmer of light coming in as they begin to fashion and plane and cut and to fit that table, that chair together. It's a ministry opportunity. It's an opportunity of building relationships. It's an opportunity, if you will, of building a bridge from father to son, to mother to daughter, to friends. It's an opportunity to build a bridge from what we know and what we do, bringing those two together and realizing it together around that work table.